Tiptoes, Lightly, the chieftain of the clan, and the gnomes, Pineycone and Pepperpops, were high in the snowy mountains, a little north of North. They were waiting for Jack Frost to turn up, as they had a question to ask of him. As the sun went down, it coloured the snow pink and orange. Then, as the moon came up, she was still thin and sharp, but her light made the snow shimmer in a silvery blue sight. Tiptoes and the gnomes sat still, enjoying the view, and they listened close. Suddenly, they heard a crackling noise. "It's Jack Frost!" cried Tiptoes as he ran outside. Pineycone and Pepperpops ran after him. Jeremy Mouse only stuck his head out of the snow cave. He didn't want Jack Frost to nip his toes, and certainly not his tail. "Jack Frost! Jack Frost!" cried Tiptoes. Jack landed next to them. He was pale, icy blue, and his arms and fingers were long and glistening. His eyes were sharp, and his wings crackled like breaking ice whenever he moved. He looked so fierce that Piney and Pepper were afraid to open their mouths. It became so chilly they wrapped their beards round their necks and pulled their hats over their ears. "Afraid I might nip your noses," crackled Jack Frost at the gnomes. Piney and Pepper clamped their hands over their noses and shook their heads. Now they really were scared. "Jack Frost," asked Tiptoes in his most polite voice, "are you a giant gnome or a giant fairy? Pepper says you are a gnome because you make crystals, and I say you're a fairy because you fly through the air." "Well, well," said Jack Frost, "curious are you? I'll tell you my story and then you can tell me what I am." Jack settled close to the ground. Every time he breathed, clouds of ice crystals flew out of his mouth and settled over them. Tiptoes didn't seem to mind, but Piney and Pepper were soon covered with a layer of frost. "Once," said Jack Frost, "there lived a fairy queen. She was queen of the air. When she brushed her hair, breezes blew gently on the earth. When she spoke, gusts of wind snatched people's hats away. And when she flew in the air, her mighty wings tossed forests to the ground, and terrible storms raged at sea and sank many a ship down to the abyss. One day the King of Ice saw her and said, 'You shall be my bride.' But the Queen of the Air refused. 'Why should I marry you?' she asked. 'You stay on the ground, and if the sun shines strongly, you melt away.' 'But I would always return, and you would be free while I was away,' said the king. But the queen still refused to marry the king. The Ice King was angry and did try to grab her. The Queen of the Air whirled away through the trees, but not quickly enough, as he had caught a piece of her dress and tore it free. 'That's all you shall have of me,' shouted the Queen, and away she flew in a tempestuous storm. 'And who is that piece of dress caught by the Ice King?' asked Jack Frost.
"You are,"
cried Pineycone and Pepperpops.
"You are."
"Then that is your answer," said Jack Frost, crackling like ice. He stretched his wings and leapt into the air. Down the valleys he flew, spreading ice and frost everywhere. The air turns colder and colder as he flaps his wings. And if people did not wrap up warmly in layers of clothes, Jack Frost nipped at their fingers and their toes. And sometimes, just sometimes, I might nip your nose.